Two, one. Okay, hey, Grandpa Frank here, and we're doing Parshah number 10, Mikketz, at the end of, which covers Genesis 41:1 to 44:17. So the outline is Pharaoh's dream, Joseph interprets, Pharaoh promotes Joseph, 7 years of plenty in the sons of Joseph, the famine years begin, Jacob sends sons to Egypt, Joseph sees his brothers at the end. The need to go back, the return with Benjamin, and the silver cup. So let's take a look. Well, I'm a retired teacher. I spent almost 25 years in the classroom. Now, as a teacher, you have to interact with a lot of people, not just students. I've had to deal with parents, grandparents, board members, other teachers, community members, administration, custodial staff, cafeteria staff, all kinds of people. And while you hope to have a friendly interaction with them all, sometimes you don't. Sometimes the people you interact with are mad, frustrated, confused, lost, angry, upset, or unpleasant. So the question is, how do you deal with people? What do you say, or how do you act when people are that way? Before I was a teacher, I worked in a supermarket for 17 years. I started as a box boy, then worked my way up to become a stock clerk and a checker. I was 16 years old when I started. I was very quiet and very shy. I learned that I had to speak up and ask questions if I wanted anything. In my job, customers would come up to me asking where a certain item was located. I either walked them over to where it was or had to give them clear directions. As a checker, I had customers with expired coupons, writing checks that didn't clear, were short of cash, or just had a bad day. And I had to have a smile the whole time. But the time at the market was training for me to be a teacher. Now to Joseph. Let's see what he went through. Sold as a slave to Potiphar, he is promoted to chief steward, in charge of the entire house, until Potiphar's wife tries to entice Joseph. Placed in prison for a crime he didn't do, Joseph is once again promoted to chief steward of the prison. He is being trained to do administrative stuff. Why? Because now Pharaoh promotes Joseph. He is second only to Pharaoh himself. Joseph is in charge of all of Egypt. Incredible. So while he lamented his plight to the butler, God was training Joseph for what he was about to become. In chapter 41, verses 56 and 57, it says the famine affected the whole earth. Yet the story only centers on Egypt and Canaan. The Bible only focuses on Joseph and his brothers. But is this a hint that other nations also came to Egypt because of the worldwide famine? Which begs the question, what was the world population at that time? Today, in 2025, the population is about 8 billion people. It wasn't until about the year 1800 that the population reached 1 billion. Could it be that the peoples of the Mediterranean flocked to Egypt for food? I know another rabbit hole, but something to think about. So Jacob sends his sons to Egypt to buy food. The brothers don't recognize Joseph, and Joseph decides to test them. After finding out about Jacob, Joseph accuses his brothers of being spies. He imprisons Simeon and sends the rest back with the provision to come back with Benjamin. Jacob is grieved and refused at first to send Benjamin. When Judah pledges to return him safely, Israel allows him to go. In Egypt, Joseph again hides who he is as he dines with his brothers. Now, another test. A silver cup is placed in Benjamin's sack. What will the brothers do? And so this Parshah ends there with a cliffhanger. Side note, the inn, probably located near the border with Egypt and Canaan. It is mentioned here and in Exodus when Moses returns to Egypt after the burning bush episode. Just wondering, where exactly is it and if it's still there? And that's the end.